So I want to find products to dropship from the supplier Zoro onto Amazon. And there are two main ways that I can do this that I've actually explained in another video. One is to start on Zoro and then search the products on Amazon. The other is to start on Amazon and then try to search the products back to Zoro. So what I'm going to do is use a spreadsheet that I made to actually assist us in this process. And what it will do is take products from Amazon that I search on Amazon, and it will help to automatically find sources of those products back onto Zoro. Now, the first thing is, what do I even search on Amazon to even pull up these Zoro products? So first of all, what I have to do is use the brands list on Zoro. If I go to the bottom, they have a brands page with all of their brands. And by the way, if you want a list of all these brands, I actually have the Zoro brands list scraped into a Google Sheet if you want like a master list of the brands. But what I'm going to do is actually just pull a brand right from here, the first brand 3M. And if you open that brand on Zoro itself, you will find that Zoro has a very large number of products of this 3M brand, 34,000, right? A very large number of products on Zoro. So what I'm going to do now is go over to Amazon and simply search 3M on Amazon and search for that brand and see what products come up. Now I do want to make it clear that I'm not recommending the 3M brand. You should do some research with whatever resources you have. So, of course you have to have approval, and then there's the restrictions, things like that you always have to watch out for with brands on Amazon, IP issues, whatever. So use whatever methods you have to do that. But for the video, I'm going to use 3M as an example, okay? So first of all, what I need to do is get the products results from this search of all these different 3M products. I need to get those 3M products here into this spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do that for today, I'm going to use a free Chrome extension that I've been using now for years and demonstrating called Instant Data Scraper over here. And once you click it, you see it puts this red box right around the products. If it does not, you can click try another table and it will move into place. And there's something else I'm going to do. It did scrape page 1. I'm going to click on locate next button so I can get more pages, because there are a lot of products of this 3M brand. And so I'm going to now click the next button and go back, find Instant Data Scraper, and actually let me see if I can expand my screen. I didn't think about this before. Down to the bottom, I'll see if I can expand it for you, because I want you to see down here I have the Instant Data Scraper Chrome extension. And then I'll click locate next. That's from there I'll click locate next button. I'm just doing that step again. Then I'll go back and do start crawling, and it will start crawling. Okay, so for now I'm going to move this back up, but I just wanted you to see me click on the Chrome extension down in the taskbar. So I'll click on start crawling, and it should start pulling more pages. It pulled 2 pages so far. Let me click start crawling again. And sometimes it navigates the pages more easily than others. So I'll try that again. Locate next button, click next. I'm going to go back to the Chrome extension, click start crawling, see if I can get more pages. So it's not always able to do it. So I'm going to build actually a browser automation that can do this more steadily on Amazon specifically, because Instant Data Scraper was not made specifically for Amazon. For today, it's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and download the CSV and just take the 60 products. I'll work with the 60 products for today for the moment. I don't want to take too much time with that part. So now I have the CSV, so I'll go over to IDS CSV, and I'll go to File. Well, let me Control Home, File, Import, and Upload, Browse. Select the last file here. This is the CSV, Amazon 22. That's the file, the last file it downloaded. Upload that. Make sure you select Replace Current Sheet. Please do not select Replace Spreadsheet. It will replace the whole system. So current sheet only. and import data and just wait for that to import. Okay, now one issue with the Instant Data Scraper CSV, and this is why I want to replace it more and more with browser automations, is that it just kind of pulls a bunch of stuff off the page, right? And so what happens is we get, all these crazy columns. And so what happens is you have to figure out essentially the columns that have the data. And they are predictable, meaning they're usually the same, but sometimes they do move. Okay, so recently I've seen that they've moved. And so what I'm going to do first is, there are three things I need. For one, I need the titles. And the titles are clearly right here. I can see the titles with no problem. So that's the column title right there in J. The prices are over here in Q. That's off screen, off screen. That's fine. I don't have a problem there. It's the URLs that I have to kind of track down. So I'm going to find, I want to make sure that I have the URLs where it actually has the DP/ and the ASIN inside, so that I'm getting the right URLs with the ASINs. Okay, so whoops. And yes, okay, so the links are very long, but those are the correct, that is the correct column. So this is the column right now that has the ASINs. It's A link normal href2. That's the column. And so basically you have two choices. One choice is you can take these links, right click, copy the links, and just come over to the sourcing sheet, and you can just paste the URLs in here, right? I mean, you can just copy and paste them. The other thing you can do is you set up a columns map. I'll show you how that works. You just click copy from this column heading, which are the URLs. You go over to this columns map and you create a columns map. I was actually just creating one, but I'll get rid of it. And I'll call it Amazon search. Since I have a bunch of them already, I'll call it number 4. Paste special values. Then I'll go back, find the titles, take that column heading and copy it, right click copy, put that under titles, and then I have prices, right? And prices, I said, are over here. So that's A off screen, and I'll copy that and put that here. So that's basically it, and the map is set up. Right now I'll go to the sourcing sheet, and I have Amazon search for as the map, and I'll click copy instant data scraper data. It'll just copy the data over here. Now at this point I can just click get ASINs, and it will extract ASINs from URLs. Now I know it seems like that was a bit much just to get this data in here. It's only because I'm demonstrating it, and the fact that the way the data is coming out of IDS. So as I mentioned, I have browser automations that can extract Amazon data from the page, and so those can be used as well. And I plan to make one where it only extracts the 3 things that we need off the search page, and that way we can get the exact data that we need right away, instead of because the thing with Instant Data Scraper is that it's not made for Amazon specifically, so that's why the data is a mess. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I have the data from Amazon. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start sourcing. And just one other thing I want to mention is that if you have Keepa, you can use Keepa to pull Amazon data and just put the data in here from Keepa instead, and import the Keepa data. Right? If you have the Keepa software. If you don't, then you're using Instant Data Scraper. Okay, now for the sources, it's very simple. I'm going to go to start sourcing. But first of all, let's talk about the sourcing settings. We have the maximum sources per product. That's the number of sources it's going to try to find the most. Okay, targeted search, you can say yes or you can say no. It should really be no by default. Because we want Zoro as a supplier specifically, we're going to say yes. Minimum match accuracy. Just because we want things to be, close as possible doesn't mean we want to just select 100. Because what happens is that it's not a perfect match, comparison. It's going to compare the URLs to the titles and try to see if it finds the same words. If you put the number very high, it's going to leave out results that might have been good, but keep the things that seem the best, right? And then if you put it like to 0, it's going to just kind of let every source it finds come in, whether or not they're close matches. So you kind of, you can kind of just go in the middle. You can do like 50 or maybe even less, 30. With a targeted search, we don't really need to make this very high, okay? So for the targeted search, I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to go to target suppliers, and Zoro.com is already here. I already had it here. All right, so target suppliers means this is the supplier that I want to target. You can target more than one. If you want to do Zoro and another one, you can put all the suppliers, okay, on the target list. All right, the master list is over here. These are all the suppliers, right? So back to the sourcing sheet, and so it's going to try to find Zoro sources. So now I go to Amazon Scraper Sourcer and start sourcing, and what it will do is simply start finding Zoro links from those product titles by searching them on the search engines. And I will just simply wait to get results. And the first one always takes a moment to start pulling, and then it just kind of crawls from there. So just give it a moment, and we should start to get some results here. Just wait a moment. We do want to be careful not to be too demanding on the, okay, so see the fact that it's not finding anything, maybe this is too demanding. Really, if I'm targeting Zoro, I don't really need this. I'm going to set it to 0. Okay, I don't really need that. And I'll just start sourcing again from here. Okay, so I'm going to use 0 for match accuracy. I don't really need to do that because I'm targeting Zoro. Okay, and so it's going to start over now from row 6. It does report to you the row that it is trying to source. And for some reason, it's just not finding Zoro links for those, which is fine. Maybe it just doesn't, for whatever reason, hasn't found Zoro links for those particular products. I'm going to let it keep going and just wait and see if I get something. Okay, so for row 9, I'm getting something. I've got something, and I'll just let it keep going from there. Row 10, it searched. Now, the different reasons why it may not find links, and it could just be that moment it doesn't find links. It could also be that there just aren't links to find for those product titles. Maybe the title on Zoro is completely different, or maybe the product's not even on Zoro. All right, we don't really know. So the idea, though, is that we don't have to manually do it, so we can get whatever results we get, we're able to get them way faster, and that's the main point here, right? Now I can start to kind of compare to get an idea of what it's doing. So I'm going to click this Amazon link, and this, see, some links are not really, this is the problem with Instant Data Scraper sometimes. Some of the links it pulls up are not really like product links. So let's find, let me check this one, which actually is a product link. Okay, so this one actually is a product link. All right, command 20 pound. Okay, so I've got that. And then I've got now Zoro, at least one of the Zoro links. And we can kind of get an idea. And sometimes products are similar, but they're not exactly the same, or the images have changed over time, right? And sometimes the image is old on Amazon, and they've changed the image, the packaging. So there are all these different things we have to kind of figure out. You have different numbers you can look at, different things you can do to try to compare it and see if it's the same, right? The description, of course, is going to be a big one, 20 pound, extra large. Hanging strips, 16 pairs. So, you know, you can look at all of that and you try to figure out if they're the same or not, right? And a lot of times, you know, they may not be exactly the same, and other times they are, right? But doing it this way, I mean, if you were doing it manually and searching for them, right, of course it would be the same thing. So it's the same. Just, this is still a manual process. But of course, what I prefer to do instead is to create a whole list and then get the prices. So I'll show you how that works, and that's more time effective. So what I'm going to do now is actually generate a products list from these. Okay, so it's trying to find sources, but what I'm going to do now, make sure you reset in case you've done something. If you have anything in here, reset the list first, and then generate the products list. Generate products list is going to start from the first row. You see, it's the last row copy was row 6, 7, and you see it's going through and checking, and it's looking for things to copy from here. So you see it's running, right? It's running through all of these indexes from 1 to 10 to see if it finds anything, right? And then it's copying and putting the products over here, okay? To see if you have sources, the sources will get copied also, right? So if we go over here, we should start to get some sources. Yeah, I have some sources, right? I'm going to dismiss that off the screen. All right. So these are the Zoro sources that came up for those products. So now this is the way to really do it instead of just kind of crawling through it on this page, which is a bit painstaking. Generate the list instead. Create a nice vertical list. Okay, the only purpose of the sourcing sheet is really to find sources. It's not really meant to be a database. Okay, that's one thing I try to make clear with this, with these systems, is that they're not meant to be a database. They're just meant to do tasks. Okay, when you generate the products list, this is more like, can operate more like a database of the products, right? That you can kind of go through and work with. All right, so what I'm going to do here is try to see if I can get the prices from these. So now to get prices from these, and unfortunately I have to dismiss these two. I like to see if they're still running, but they're in the way, right? So I added this get data. Now get data is a function I created, and using this get data function, you can actually extract the prices. So what you're going to do is get data, set extraction column, right? And you're going to put the word price in here. And it says enter the data element that will be extracted to this column. For that, you will click OK. Then it says enter the source column. Source column is the column that actually where are you getting the prices from? You get them from column H. So you enter source column H. Once you do that, you set it up. Okay, now we're going to get prices in here from column H. All right. So what we're going to do now is get data, extract range, and it will extract the price in here from Zoro. Okay. So it's important to note it can work with Zoro because Zoro basically allows me to scrape and pull the HTML directly in. Okay, and this is all happening on Google's side. It's not, you're not really scraping it, Google's scraping it. Okay, Google Sheets is scraping it. All right, so that's how that works. So you don't have to do a whole bunch of stuff, right? You just do it and it just scrapes the data. Basically, it does work with Zoro, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight this whole range. And I actually could do this and highlight the whole column, but I'll just highlight the range that's in front of me right now. Get data, extract range. It doesn't work with, it would not be able to do this for any website, but it does work for Zoro.com. Okay, so there's certain websites that it can extract the data. And then there's some others where it cannot. And then there's others where it could do it if you add the programming for it. But fortunately, it's already able to do Zoro. And so this is going to be a great solution for product data, getting product data from Zoro.com. Okay. Because I can get this product data in here directly, what it does is it allows me to really just compute this profit over here. Right away. So I can see like $80.52 profit, right? $78.71 profit. This is what's coming up, right? Now these are raw profit calculations, right? We don't even have referral fees in here. So if we're in a category that we expect to be around 15, we can just kind of say, well, I think it's going to be 15 and just kind of copy that down. I'll double click, copy down the 15%, so I can take out the referral fee right off the top. And if you're drop shipping, obviously you don't have an FBA fee, but you may have shipping from Zoro, but that's under a certain price, especially if you get that that thing they have, sort of a membership, I believe. So I mean, depending on the price, right, you may have the shipping. So basically, this just gives us kind of a raw idea of the profit. Now, that's assuming that the products are actually the same products. So of course you will have to take that extra step now to see, well, are these even the same product? Because it could be giving that calculation, but that's just based on the prices, right? So now you've got to actually compare these things and see if they're the same. Some have a nice preview, some don't. I can open this up, and that's, again, that's a search result, so that's not really good. Okay, I can try another one over here. Okay, that's no good. Right, so this is still manual inspection that we're going to have to do here. All right, I think I checked this one before already. So let me, whoops. Keep trying these. If I can get previews, that's really the best thing. Those look different. All right, and I can just keep comparing, try to see. It's common to get things that are not exactly the same. All right, and remember, sometimes you have multiple sources. All right, now I don't even know what we're looking at here, so I've got to open that on Amazon, see what it is. Again, that's the search result. This will be much improved using the browser automation I'm going to have. It won't be pulling all these search links. So sorry that all these search links are in here right now. Instant Data Scraper used to be better with this before. So once we replace it with the browser automation, we won't have as many of these kind of, these links that I'm opening right now that are not even product links, okay? So don't worry too much about that. That will become a thing of the past, replacing it with the browser automation. Okay, so a lot of these are like links. They're not actually products. I'm really trying to find like an exact match here, but a lot of these are different. Okay. And sometimes they're the same, but the image is just a different image. So you have to really check for that, right? Type 27. So let me just look at this product and see what it is. 3M flap disk. Okay, just wanted to get a general idea and then just kind of see what's coming up over here on Zoro and see if it's like the same thing or similar. I mean, we want it for Amazon, obviously we need these things to be the same. So yeah, those are not the same. All right, so there is this manual process you have to go through of actually comparing these things, and you also need a large number of products, because a lot of products don't work out, and then some will. But when you find one, it's like you really find one, right? And you find sometimes more than one. And so also some brands just kind of don't source as well as others. So really, ideally, what you're going to want to do, the real, like, complete way to really use the system, honestly, is that you want to be able to take a bunch of things. Like, say, if you're going to do brands, find a bunch of brands, right? And actually search like all of them and pull a whole ton of products, maybe even thousands of products, right? Get those products into the sourcing sheet. Have it source like thousands of products. And it can do that continuously. And there's a way to set it to keep going continuously. I can get into that more in other videos. Have it continuously collect tons of sources, then do the have it generate the products list at the same time automatically, and it can keep doing that. Using triggers, you can have all these things continue automatically, okay? And it will continually just keep putting the product data. And then even get data has the ability to keep running. It has a continue and auto continue, where it can keep running automatically as well. So you have all of this happening just continuously. Right, so you pull a whole bunch of product data. The sourcing can keep going continuously. The product list will keep coming in continuously. Get data will keep pulling the prices. And at the end of it, you will have like tons of potential matches and products. And so that's really the way that you're going to want to use this to give yourself the best chance of actually finding products. However, that, is there's more of a process to it. I have to do more videos because you can't really in 20 minutes really, or even 25, really just kind of do the whole thing and show everything that's possible. But I wanted you to get an idea of the core of the process, of the core process of how this is actually done. So that's basically going to be it for this video. I'm going to look at it some more in other videos, the more options and things you can do to further this process, and also get that browser automation together so that we don't continue using instant data scraper, which is messy. If you have Keepa, that's your best option, which is paid software, to really very nicely pull the product data, which will also include the brand and the rank and all of that as well. But if you're not using paid software, you can just use URL, ASIN, and title, price. It will be enough as well. So, I'm trying to provide different options in that way. So that's about it. Just check the description of this video for links, and go ahead and get a copy of the spreadsheet. And that way, because it's really a process that you have to get into, and you can start executing the process and start learning it and applying it in this manner. So the other thing that I'll be looking at in another video, the other approach is to do the Amazon matcher, where we will start on Zoro and we will pull a whole category of products, and then the matcher will search the Zoro products and try to find them on Amazon instead of going from Amazon to Zoro. So that's a whole nother, this is another system that goes the opposite way. And so we'll look at that as well. Okay, so two separate spreadsheets, all kind of part of one big approach, but basically two different kind of angles, representing two different angles of doing this thing. Okay, so that's about it for this video. And yes, just check the description for links. All right, any comments, any suggestions or questions, you go ahead and leave them below. You can also contact me directly. And other than that, I just look forward to hearing from you, basically, if you have questions. Or see you around on the next video, continuing with this process of product research for Amazon dropshipping.